Welcome everyone. We are the actual team from D Mobile, and today we are here to talk about warranty pricing for premium and mid-tier phones. We will have to ask everyone to please hold your questions and applauses until the very end. Our team consists of myself, Raymond, Parker, Crystal, Beaker, and Serena at the end over there. The data we use for our consideration for warranty pricing was purchased from an external source. It contains claim data for 2-year warranty policies. While looking at the data, it didn't specify if the claim data was for 1 year or 2-year policy, but there was indication that they were 2-year policies, so we just made the assumption they are all 2-year warranty policy. And here's a summary of the information that we did purchase. First, we look at claim frequency. We can see that claims fall mainly into 4 categories. It's either a battery claim, a screen claim, or a total loss claim. And anything that's minor and doesn't happen as often was all clumped together into others. And everything else was just no claim. We also separated into different options that was offered for the mid-tier and premium phones. So the different options were option 1, option 2, and option 3. For option 1, it covers claim for battery, screen, others, but it does not cover total loss, and there is a deductible of $99. For option 2 and 3, it does cover theft and loss. However, the difference between option 2 and option 3 is option 2 has a $50 deductible. We made quite a few assumptions while pricing our warranties. The number one assumption that we did make is the warranty was only allowed for purchase from new phones only. The reason for this was because we want to avoid adverse selection from used phones. Next, the interest rate that we used for our pricing was the London Interbank offered rate. And the next one we assumed was the losses all occurred at average claim dates, instead of just figuring out which claim, when the claims happen, we just assume they all happen at the average level from all the data that we collected. And there's a little chart showing us when the average time of each claim happened. For the fixed expense, we assume that all the salary for designing and maintaining the policy has been included. For the per claim expense, it only consists of shipping costs and service expenses. For the variable expense, it would just be the total repair cost, be it battery, screen, other or total loss. And for any other variable expense beyond that, we just assumed it was 0 and we didn't consider any other variable expenses. The margin for underwriting profit, we assumed it to be 5.5%. This is based on the property and casualty insurance net margin found in 2017. And in the case that the claim was a loss or a theft, we assume that the replacement phone was a refurbished phone or a used phone, and the value of that was 85% of the actual price of a brand new phone. And in the case that it was a theft and there was no phone for the policyholder to actually send back to us, we assume the shipping cost was just half of the regular shipping cost. Okay, next I'm going to turn the stage over to Iker.
Now I would like to introduce the premium method. The premium method is basically all the premium we have to cover all the losses and expense. So the first step, we have to sum all the expense and losses, also the total exposure unit. And we find the ratio of the 2 elements to find the premium. Also, in the very last, we have to take into account the profits and the expense. And now I can introduce the formula and how we apply the formula. The PI here is all the premium that we get, and it's kind of what we need to calculate. The X is the exposure that we know. The L here is all the repair expense here. And the EL is the per claim expense, which is the service fee and the shipping cost. So the EF is the fixed cost that's Raymond mentioned before. In the denominator, the 1 minus V minus QT is a combined ratio. The VT is a variable expense, which we already considered in the L, so we just set it 0 here. The QT is the profit margin, is 5.5, as mentioned before. So, and the next thing is 1 plus the interest times T. The interest value, we already get it, and the T is the average time the the claim happened. And for this option, the deductible is $99, and we do not cover the total loss. And the type of foam is the premium foam, which costs $599. And apply all the information we get into the formula, we can get the final premium is 9.11. And we apply this formula to all the options, option 1, 2, 3, and different brand of the foam, like the sturdy, the oops, and the mid-tier, and we can get the chart for it. And we will introduce it later by Serena. And now, Parker will introduce more considerations.
So, in order for our policy to be more flexible, we will need to introduce more consideration based on our basic warranty as outlined above. Now, the first consideration we have to take is the 2-year versus 1 year. Now, according to the data, there is a much higher risk of battery failure in the 2nd year as compared to the 1st year. So, from that aspect, it adds much more risk to a 2-year warranty plan. So, however, to counterbalance this, the losses that occur in the 2nd year are discounted more relative to their 1st-year counterparts. Pulling all this together, based on data, we find that the 2-year warranty is still higher than double the warranty for the 1st year. This will be expanded later on in the Evans pricing. For the no-deductible option, deductibles are important because deductibles help the insurer save money, and it will allow us to ignore the smaller claims. Now, if we were to offer a no-deductible option, it will increase our loss cost and our ultimate cost. It will also increase our claim frequency, as those small losses that we did not observe before are now observed. In our context, this includes the other failures, which is $99. In the case of a no-deductible option, it will also attract adverse selection from the people who experience more small claims. In the case of no-deductible, these people will be more likely to purchase this, and thus making them more risky for this option. So overall, this will lead to a higher premium. Now, for loss and theft, total loss and theft are usually not included in the typical premium, in the typical warranty plans. This is because, well, these losses cost a lot of money for insurers because we have to replace the entire foam. And the second part is that buyers have past experience. So buyers, they know due to their personal habits, their experience, that they're more likely to lose their phones, total loss, or theft. So this will cause a degree of adverse selections. People who are more likely to lose their phones to theft are more likely to purchase coverage for it, which rises the risk of this group who select this option considerably. Thirdly, we have to consider the fraud risk involved. It is difficult for them to provide sufficient evidence that their phone has actually been stolen. Anyone could claim that their phone has been stolen. We can't find it, they can't find it, they can't provide us with any evidence. In that case, if they choose to fraudulently claim their phone is stolen, we will have a hard time determining whether this claim is fraud or not. So combining all of these factors, it will lead to a much higher premium in the case that these coverages are offered. Now, the last consideration for part 1 will be how do we reduce our expected loss? There are 3 methods that we look at. The first one is discounting. So we can offer retroactive reimbursements, retroactive refunds for a portion of the premium in the case that the policyholder did not make any claims throughout their policy lifetime. This can encourage policyholders to be less risky and thus reduce the expected loss for us. Secondly, we can offer loss prevention services, such as location tracking to prevent the loss of phones and to prevent theft. Lastly, to detect fraudulent claims, we can apply data analysis to determine which claims are more likely to be fraudulent. For example, if a person claims that their phone had been stolen 3 times a month, then it's pretty obvious that the chance of that is pretty low. If we look at our data, we can spot these likely to be fraudulent claims, and we can take action appropriately against them. Now, Crystal will come and introduce our advanced warranty pricing.
Now we're entering the pricing for advanced warranty. First of all, the assumption mentioned before still holds in this case. And we are pricing the 1-year warranty first, so we focus on the claim data happened on the first year. Then the interest rate is still based on the LIBOR rate for the USD dollars. The only difference is we introduced the 15% commission into the pricing structure. Because the 15% is only applied on the 50% of the total population, we decided to spread the 15% into the whole population. So we choose the 7.5% as the commission rate applied to all policy holders. Another one is the hazard rate assumption, because we found out the mid-tier phone doesn't follow the 3 times hazard rate assumption according to the data. So we choose to follow the data because data is more reliable. Then it's in premium phone. We got 2 brands for the premium phone. One is the started one and another one is the ops one. They got a different hazard rate since the hazard rate of the started is double the ops one. The hazard rate of the started one is half of the hazard rate of the ops one, but we found that they got the same phone price because I think people is bought for brand. And for the loss part, we think the theft couldn't consider into the hazard rate comparison, so we assign the same probability for theft part. Then for the non-theft part, including a battery failure or cracker screen, we choose to assign different claim amount into different brand of premium phone. For the exposure chosen, we need to assign the same exposure since we choose the data based on the hazard rate, so the base exposure should be the same. The relationship shown in the data sorting process, since the started one got a lower hazard rate, we assign 1/3 of the claim number into the started premium phone. As shown in the graph, for the theft part, we assign half probability. And for other costs, we assign 1/3 to the started and 2/3 to the ops one. Next, Serena will introduce another method to price the warranty.
For the updated pricing structure, we use a generalized linear model for it. The difference between the general linear regression model with the pure premium one, the difference is for the pure premium, we only consider the claim part. We just split the total data set into total claim data set randomly into the probability that Crystal mentioned before. But for the generalized linear regression, generalized linear model, we also need to consider the non-claim part. So when we separate so the question is how can we separate the non-claim part randomly? Also, as we mentioned before, the rule that we are following is to make sure the total exposure for both data sets should be equal. So, and then based on this assumption, we choose the 3D distribution here because 3D distribution is the mixed combined Poisson and gamma distribution, which have a point mass at 0. And then in our model, our responsible variable is loss. There have a lot of 0 in our responsible variable. So that's why we choose the 3D distribution. For our model, we also need to find out the factor that can be have the influence to our loss, which we found the exposure, policy year, and 2 categorical variable, which is the cost of loss and the coverage option. because in our data set we have 3 options. So the option 1 in our model is set as the base option, and the loss we got from option 1 we set as the base premium that we got. And then based on our assumption before, we can get the premium for the GLM and pure premium. For the pure one, all the price is calculated based on the method that we mentioned before. But for the GLM is different. Because GLM is not find the exact value for each option. It only can find the correlation between each option. For example, because option 1 we assume as the base option. So right now, and we can get a loss amount for it, which is a premium for it. And then right now, we keep all the risk of factor be constant. Only change option 1 into option 2, and then we can get a correlation between it. For example, for first one, the option 1 for Boost company, which is the 12.928, and then option 1 will be 28 plus 777. You can see there's a difference between the GLM. For option 2, there's a difference for the price for the GLM and pure method, because GLM, the result that GLM method found is just a correlation between option 1 and option 2, which means if we keep the risk of them be constant, only change option 1 into 2, their only price only increase 16 something, around 16. So same thing for option 1 to option 3, we only found the relationship between them. If we change option 1 into option 3, what's the increase for our premium? And then based on this result, we can get a table, we can get a chart. It's a 1-year premium with based on the GLM method that we got. So we can see for the option 1 and option 2 and option 3 for different company, we can see there is a certain chain between them. If we compare this method result with the pure premium, we can see if the two graphs, first 2 graphs on top, we can see they are following the similar trend, which means both of 2 methods work.
Now we're going to introduce 2-year warranty pricing process. Before we introduce it, we forgot one thing to mention, how we apply the commission percentage. Because the commission is based on the sale price of the premium. So we just apply the 7.5% after we found the basic premium. So we just divide it by 1 minus 7.5%. Then we introduce the 2-year warranty pricing. All we did is just compare the total loss happened in the second year, and we found a ratio to the first year. We, according to different policyholder, we accumulate the loss amount and find the ratio between the second year and first year. After +1, we apply it on the 1-year warranty price. Then we can get a pure premium 2-year warranty pricing at the bottom of the table here. And same for GLM, but it's only different is it apply on the 2-year warranty plan, or 2-year warranty plan as the starting point. We graph some chart here.
Okay, also with the same thing as we did in the 1-year premium. This one is the 2-year warranty based on the pure premium method. We can see there's the chain similar as the 1 year, but the only one difference is the average, the premium is increased because we changed the warranty from 1 year to 2 year. And we do the same thing based on the GLM model. This is the new chart that we have had for the 2-year warranty. Same thing, we can see that no matter 1 year or 2 year warranty that we got, all of them no matter which method you are using, no matter pure premium or GLM method, looks like they still following a similar trend. So which means I think both of our method can be match each other. So which means our result is believable.
Now, for part 2, we will also introduce some considerations based on our evidence pricing model. So the first one is the underwriting factors. So then in underwriting factors, it is crucial for us to group these policy buyers into appropriate risk groups so that we can price them appropriately. So what are some legal factors we can apply to measuring these people's risks? Well, the first one, we must establish some rating variables. The rating variables that concerns us and are relevant to the phones for us is the age, occupation, and the geographical area. Age is a consideration because based on their age, people treat their phones differently. Young people, for example, are more careless around phones. They are more likely to break things or lose things. For occupation, people bring their phones to work. So then a person working at a construction site who brings their phone to work is much more risky in terms of breaking a phone than a person who just brings his phone to the office. For geographical areas, in population dense areas such as large cities, it is more likely to have your phone stolen because, well, more people around, crime rates, and it's easier to lose things. Now, for the case that if another company charged the same premium regardless, for the 599 phone regardless of the brand, so regardless of the associated risk with the brand, what would happen? Well, the insurance market is pretty much a free market, bar some government regulations. So in a case they offered, for example, same premium to the sturdy ones than to the oops ones, it would cause a lot of adverse selections. People, buyers who have experience knowing that the oops phone is more risky, they will go purchase this warranty because the premium relatively is lower than their risk level. Conversely, for the people who have phones made by the sturdy people, then their phones are more unlikely to be damaged or suffer failures, then they wouldn't pay for the premium that the oops people will be paying appropriately. So therefore, these adverse selection will eventually lead to market segmentation, people with the sturdy phone versus people with the oops phone. In that case, another company could come in and offer the appropriate rate for the people with sturdy phones so they can insure their policies with them, and then the people with oops phones would just remain with the company who's offering the same rates. So over time, the market outcome would essentially be the same. Now, Raymond will be introducing the next consideration.
So next we were looking at better phone replacement plan, where essentially if your phone was stolen or broke and it caused a total loss, we would replace the phone with a brand new phone. So the new phone value would actually be worth more than the current phone you currently had. However, this does reward risky behavior because there's no incentive for you to actually take care of the phone you have right now, since you know if you do break it or if it gets stolen, it will be replaced with a better one. So thus introduces lots of risky behavior to the policyholder, where they're not actually going to care so much about their current phone because they know they can get a better phone. And also actually incentivizes people that if they know they have this policy and they want something better, that they can go ahead and claim that their phone was stolen or purposely damage their phone to the point where it's non-repairable to try and get an upgrade on their current phone. And so this introduces a lot of adverse selection to the people who actually will purchase this plan. And so we have to introduce a much significantly higher premiums and also deductibles to deter these actions and to try and reduce the adverse selection into these policies.
So another way to reduce the total loss is to limit the number per year to 1. Because from the data we are given, there's a considerable portion that there's many claims happen in the same years. So if we cap the number of claims per year, we will decrease the total number of claims significantly, and after that we will few money will be paid for the total loss by the T-Mobile. And after that, the premium for this policy will be fewer than the policy without any limit. So it will be more attractive to the customers. And also, it will deter the risky policy buyers because they know they're more likely to break the phone twice or 3 times in 1 year, so this policy does not fit to them. And after that, if we cap the limit of the claim, we force the policyholder to be more careful about the phone. They will further reduce the total amount of the limit amount, or the loss amount, sorry.
Okay, and for the final consideration, we introduced dependency, where we find that there are dependencies between our covariates, and we need to look at it, review it, and just determine what the dependencies are so we can price our premiums appropriately, look at their experience, their personal habit, and that's why we did introduce the GLM model, which takes this all into account so we can better prepare our premiums to be used for the warranty policy. And I'll turn it over to reference. So for the reference itself here, you can see these are some of the information that we did use. So you can have a look at it here. But also Eker, down the line here, we'll be sending out a copy of the presentation to everyone who was able to attend, and also to everyone who was unfortunately not able to attend the event today. Okay. So thank you all for listening to our presentation. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to let us know right now. If you're not here and you weren't able to actually voice any of your question, when Eker does send out the presentation to you guys will be able to respond to him with any concerns you may have, and we'll reply to you as promptly as possible. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation.